We're here, Houston, day one, but more importantly, Matt, I'm glad that you got to sleep in this morning, but I was with the folks from Channel 11 News giving them a brief rundown of everything that's going on this weekend. So I'm glad you got to sleep. I'm rolling on that coffee energy, still waiting on that coffee sponsor, but yeah, let's go.
I heard you were hanging out with Elvis this morning.
I was. So we are selling during this morning's road art. We have an Elvis mannequin, and the reporter that was with me really was excited about it. So we did a whole segment with Elvis in the picture. Elvis is in the room.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And where can viewers find that clip? It's
on Channel 11 News. You just go to the live clips, type in Mecum in the search bar, and that video will pop up. And maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Well, hey, thanks for joining us for Mecum in the Morning. We are here for day one of Mecum Houston at the NRG Center. Lots in store, both for the next 3 days and, of course, for today. Brian, let's get into the daily rundown. We've got so many great pieces that are going to be crossing the auction block. We've got 45 pieces of road art, 315 vehicles, and that includes 4 collections. And I'm excited for one of the collections that's crossing the block. We've got a neat spotlight from a trip that I took, but we can't get to that yet, because we also have our merch on site and we have an event exclusive tee, which I'm very excited about.
Have you picked it up for us?
Not yet, but we will be rocking it on a show either tomorrow or Saturday.
When we were working with our apparel partner, Legends, we got really excited about it. It's like a whole Astro retro vibe to the t-shirt. Even yesterday during setup, some of the employees were going like, this is one of our favorite t-shirts yet. So if you are coming out, make sure you pick it up in person. But guess what? It's also available online. So if you cannot make it, you can also go on to mecumshop.com and order that really cool tee that you're seeing across the screen right now.
Well, it makes sense because Texas is known for trucks, so we had to do a truck design.
You have to.
You have to. And I do like that retro, would you call it Astrocade?
Yeah, I said Astro style.
All right.
I don't know what an Astrocade did.
Well, that's the design that I coined for it.
Yeah, I love it.
Astrocade style.
Yeah, well, pick it up because it's great, and Matt and I will be rocking it sometime on the show this week.
Absolutely. All right, well, Brian, we are still very excited to be now with our second auction with our new TV partner, ESPN Plus. So much great coverage, all the same formatting. It's just on a different home.
Yeah, it's a different home, but it's also giving us the opportunity to reach a bigger and broader audience. Everyone loves cars, and not everyone knows about us. So why not team up with the largest streaming or sports streaming app literally in the entire world, right? And people ask, well, is auctions a sport? Yeah. Have you ever been to the auction and been able to feel the energy that an auction brings? There's a lot of excitement in it. But even more so in that, we still have our same TV broadcasting team. So we still have Scott Hope, Bill Stevens, Chris Jacobs, Danielle Trotta. Everyone's here. Everyone's back, bringing the same energy and the same coverage as before. And also, if you don't have ESPN Plus or Hulu or Disney or any of those, you can watch the replay from the ESPN coverage on our YouTube channel 72 hours after the conclusion of the auction. So you can watch Mecum literally anywhere.
Yeah, and as we talked about in Glendale, it's a great way to bring the excitement of Mecum auctions to an even wider audience.
Yeah, and you and I both pay attention to a lot of the comments, and it's always difficult when, a show changes networks, but we're really excited about that, right? Again, in the comments, a lot of people hadn't been able to tune into Mecum before, didn't know about Mecum, and they're really excited to have a TV show or about cars to watch, right? So we are seeing comments from people talking about how excited they are to see us on a platform that they already subscribe to.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and if you have more questions about that, you can find out more details on mecum.com, as well as get information about signing up for ESPN Plus, so that you really can catch it live and watch it. And it's the same format, like you said, same personalities, same friends that are providing all that great commentary. It's just a new place to find it.
But no, it doesn't beat it being here in person.
It doesn't.
Yeah. So if you're close by to any of our auctions, you can also check out our schedule on mecum.com. And if you're within driving distance, come and check us out in person.
TV coverage here at Houston will kick off tomorrow and Saturday. Lots of great hours there in store. So get all the latest, like I said, at mecum.com. If you have more questions, get them there. And be sure to tune into ESPN Plus.
Also, make sure you always tune into Mecum in the morning.
Yeah.
And then tune into our coverage.
Yeah, we'll get you the inside scoop. Maybe even as early as 4 a.m. or whatever time you're up.
You know what? My days of 4 a.m. are very numbered, Matt.
Well, good. Well, I don't have a good transition of numbers, so let's just cut to Glendale. We were just there, Brian, not too long ago, and I bumped into a very neat couple that had secured, it wasn't quite a dream car, but it was a very exciting project car, so I had to catch up with them for the story. Here's my look at what they bought and what they're going to do with it. Hey, Greg, congrats. Is this the new purchase?
It is. How you doing?
I'm well, man. You must be ecstatic.
I'm really excited. It's the first time I've actually owned a Ford, and I finally got the one I wanted.
So why this one?
Well, this one's I've always been a fan of this one, and the reason is it's hard to get the quad black. So I'm excited to have all the black options on this particular car.
Future plans, road tripping, modifications. What's next for the vehicle?
Being a car guy, you can't leave anything stock. I do have some really cool plans for this car, and it will be lowered to the ground, custom wheels.
What was the experience of purchasing that?
Great experience. I've gone through a lot of auctions in the past. I can honestly tell you that Mecum is the best auction I've ever been to. I just love the family atmosphere with Dana and Frank, and the buying experience, the auction experience is just second to none.
Did you buy it in person, or were you on the phone, on the internet?
I'm an in-person kind of guy. I have to touch it and see it and met the owner. So that's always a key thing I encourage people to do is, if you can have a conversation with the owner of the car, find out what the history of it, why they're selling it.
Were you able to take advantage of any of the on-site services?
I actually did. I financed this one through Mecum Financial. Mecum Financial was extremely easy. I was actually impressed on how streamlined their process was, how quick the service was, honestly, what the rates were, everything. So if someone's trying to get into the collector car market, look into Mecum Financial. I'm sure you'll be impressed. They'll have a plan for you, and you can still get the car you want and have it affordable. It's a win-win. So I encourage everyone to at least look into that and also enjoy the experience, have fun, because it is a lot of fun to go in there and buy a car.
Thanks, Greg, for sharing your experience.
Thank you for allowing me to share my story.
This is going to be a lot of fun, I can tell. I'm excited to see what's in store for this T-Bird.
The first thing, though, is my love had a vision, and she has a vision of scarves and glasses like their Audrey Hepburn days. And she actually bought the scarves before I bought the car. So I'm kind of committed to letting her drive it out of here.
I love the Audrey Hepburn vibe and just the whole story. He shared about, why they bought that car, but also about his experience with Mecum. It's a great testimonial, especially to the services like Mecum Financial Services, but the ease of bidding and the whole process. And I think a lot of people don't understand, everything that we do offer here at Mecum Auctions. And Greg actually reached out to me on Instagram. He had bought that car on Wednesday, and I think he reached out Friday after seeing Nancy Perry in our Mecum in the Morning set, which kind of debuted at Mecum Glendale. Yeah. But he was just so excited. He genuinely reached out. He just said, hey, I just bought a car. I'd love to tell my story. Would you guys be interested? And our producer, Alyssa, and I were like, yeah. And so we had a great photo shoot with him. I loved how Alyssa dressed up, like you said, with the Audrey vibes. She also was channeling Sophia Loren, if I recall right. Oh, I can see a hint of that in that outfit. But yeah. I just thought it was great. Greg was really excited about the T-Bird itself, just because he said he'd been looking for one. He also talked about how those aren't really modified, and he's got some plans to do that. So I'm excited to see what he does. He's right that since those cars have come out, they were so retro from the factory, Brian, that a lot of people just left them as is, and he's got some kind of big plans on changing that. Still keeping it very retro. I'm excited for that. So does that mean you're going to go and do a Matt on the Move episode and follow up and see what they do to the car? Absolutely, as long as I get some cool 1960s sunglasses to rock while I'm driving with them. And a scarf to match. Maybe a scarf, too. Yeah. He also really said that, in particular, why he zeroed in on that one, Brian, is that it was a quadruple black paint, black interior, black soft top, and black hard top. I'm not sure how that fits into his overall vision. He didn't share that, but I think he kind of maybe wants that murdered out look. But either way, I'm excited to kind of see as he moves forward with this project, what ends up. So I expect you to keep in touch with him and then do a follow-up video so we can share. You mentioned something is that he reached out. He said he had such a great experience and he wanted to share that story. And we want to hear more of those stories. We want to talk to first-time buyers. We want to talk to avid car collectors. So if you're here at the auction or if you're watching Mecum in the Morning, reach out to us. If you plan on coming and there's a car that you're looking at, let us go through the process for you, and share the excitement. And maybe Matt can offer some help. Not sure what, but. Well, that's a great point, too. I mean, if you have a story about buying a car, if there's a reason why
you came to Mecum to find that car, if you had an interesting experience. I should also mention too, Greg was so excited because he met the owner of the T-Bird. I don't know if that was before or after the sale, but he said he was able to connect, get some questions answered. Then he got some additional documentation. So it really just shows when you come out to the auction in person, a lot can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't hesitate, reach out. We want to hear your stories, and Matt can give you guided tours.
Speaking of Matt, absolutely. Speaking of guided, not guided tours, speaking of Matt on the move, in maybe some guided tours, Brian, you missed out a trip back in this area a week ago to the Handbuilt Show. You were off doing other things, and I said, I'm going to go by myself with Alyssa and check it out. And there was a lot of cool stuff there. Today I'm in Austin, Texas, getting an exclusive preview of the Handbuilt Show. And joining me is Alec. He's a custom motorcycle builder as well as one of the event organizers. Alec, what is the Handbuilt Show all about?
Good question. So the Handbuilt Show is all about custom builders from all around the world, whether it be cars or motorcycles. Anything goes. There's nothing off the table. Doesn't matter if you have a famous shop or you built the bike in your bathroom. This is actually our second year of having cars. It used to just be exclusively motorcycles. We're just really into motorcycles, really into cars, as we all are, right? Since we were little kids. That's kind of what we're all about.
Thanks, Alex, for sharing. And, well, no one's in the building. I'm going to go check it all out.
Yeah, man, do it.
There's some wild paint jobs, countless hours of metal fabrication, and some of the wildest two-wheeled machines I've ever seen. Hey, I'm Matt.
Yeah, hi, Michael.
Michael, I heard that you and your motorcycle had quite the journey to get here. Can you tell me what it is and how far did you come from?
Okay, so I'm coming from France. We created the bike and it started years back as a father and son project. And it became my son's life project when he got diagnosed with lung cancer in 2019. My son, Jimmy, 3D modeled all the bike. He engineered all the parts, even the suspension, the rear end, everything, the frame. So, and everything has been 3D modeled as a real prototype.
Was there any design inspiration or did it all come out of your son's head?
Yeah, so the engine is a 1200cc Buell X1. So we wanted to concentrate on the frame and on the, let's say, on the riding of the bike. I wanted a single-sided swing arm because I like the Ducatis, but we designed our own one. We designed the suspension. When my son passed, I promised him to achieve his dream, which was to come to the US and build this bike in small series, but also custom parts and performance parts.
Incredible that you've come from France to Austin, Texas to honor the legacy of your son. Very cool piece, but Michael, there's some other bikes I've got to go check out. Enjoy your time here at the show.
Okay, thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
And then there's halls of amazing cars, from NASCAR to lowriders, American muscle, to some ultra rare high-end exotics, and this piece of 80s history to a Ford GT. And of course, if you want the 1960s Roadster that saw use at Le Mans, see us at Indy. Being in Texas, I knew I was going to find some trucks, but don't let these patina looks fool you. These are packing some serious upgrades. What a neat experience to check out the Handbuilt Show before the public was let in. If you're in Austin, this is one event you've got to get to.
Okay, I missed out. I regret it. Matt gets all the fun. It was really sad, the story, that you met with the father, and from France. But it was really nice that he continued to honor his son's legacy and get this motorcycle over to the US. And, as a final, here's this motorcycle that my son envisioned, and he, fabricated all the parts for it. It was just a wonderful story to share, but, also sad
Yeah.
at the same time.
Well, and it had been years in the making. I mean, they've been developing this project for a while. And I will say, you'll have to help me out here. I believe the foundation was a Buell. Did that look?
Yeah, I think he said a Buell Lightning.
Okay, Buell
Yeah.
Lightning.
Yeah.
So how far did he take it from what a stock Buell Lightning looks like?
I will have to educate you afterwards, but I will tell you it looks nothing like the Buell Lightning. I think the only thing that you can somewhat investigate or say that, you know, there's resemblance is the motor itself. I think everything else is fabricated. They did a single-sided swing arm, the whole frame over the nothing. Yeah, we'll do a little education piece about what a Buell Lightning, a stock Buell Lightning looks like. I think that's a nice ode to it. Is, you know, a lot of time when custom builders build a motorcycle, they just use the motor as the platform and then they build around it. So I mean, this was an extreme version of a custom motorcycle, but they kept the retention of the styling of the motor the same.
Yeah, a lot of custom work there. I should also say we ran into some other friends, Aero Precision, the crew that came out to our Las Vegas auction. They were there. They debuted kind of a new bike there. So it just was neat to kind of connect back with the motorcycle community, Brian, because this is on their radar. I mean, we talked to some other participants that had come from Virginia, from Arizona, and obviously with Michael coming from France. So
Handbuilt is one of the largest custom motorcycle shows in the world, you know, and it just gets bigger and bigger every year. But the thing I was most excited about, even though I wasn't there, were the photos that our DP Alyssa shared of you posing on the motorcycle. So hopefully we can include those in tomorrow morning's show, at least one of the photos. I think that we have motorcycle Matt in the works. I can't wait to
I think so too.
Cruise the highway with you.
But before we get caught up with him, we also still have car Matt, because there's a lot of cars there at Handbuilt, and they were saying that I think it's the second year that they've now invited cars,
yep.
four-wheeled vehicles. There really was a wide sampling, Brianna. I tried to show them that piece that I thought it would just be custom cars, which, hey, I wouldn't be upset by that.
Yeah.
But they had those, and then they had race cars. They had that Lamborghini Miura, which you and I were talking about.
Yeah.
They had that Ford GT. And the reason why we're kind of in GT mode as we get closer to Indy is that, of course, we have the 1965 GT chassis number 109, the only GT Roadster to compete in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So that's exciting. It was kind of neat to kind of bring it back to that. And now we're seeing GTs everywhere we go.
I know, it's like we're in a GT era. Is that what it, like the Swift, like they're in a Swift? So. We're in the GT era. And if you're coming to Houston, the great news is we actually have it on display here.
Yeah, we've got Astrocade design in this GT era.
Okay, Matt.
Oh, man. Well, hey, you know, my travels have been pretty busy last couple of weeks, Brian. And another another trip I took without you was out to Denver to check out some cool retro trucks from the early 2000s that I thought were super rad. Today, I'm checking out a trio of wild, all-American show trucks, modified to the max, and all headed to Mecum Houston as part of the Mile High collection. First up is this 2006 Ford Shelby GT150 prototype. When Ford discontinued the iconic SVT Lightning in 2004 to focus on more luxurious haulers, the crew at Shelby Automobiles saw an opportunity to fill that void. Partnering with Unique Performance, they created just 3 of these pickups to test the waters, with design inspiration drawing heavily from Shelby's legendary heritage. Under the hood is a 5.4-liter V8 equipped with a supercharger, a Shelby airbox, and Ford racing exhaust. Output was rated at 445 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque. Pretty stout for the time. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the attention to detail with the paint work. And here you can also see the all-important Shelby trim tag. Keeping the theme on performance, the truck also features a race-inspired suspension, and behind these American Racing Razor wheels, you'll find Bayer disc brakes with drilled and slotted rotors. Inside, there's custom embroidery and gauge inserts, and all in all, the truck with its ground effects, spoiler, over-the-top paintwork, and of course that potent powertrain remains a unique, show-stopping street truck from this era. Meet Big Red. Although, I think more appropriately, Bigger Red, as it's actually the big brother to a similar 2007 light-duty Silverado modified by Chevrolet in collaboration with Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the then all-new second-generation Silverado. Wanting to show off those customized vibes on the heavy-duty variant, they created this. Living up to that name, the truck features this eye-popping translucent paint with Spectra Flare base, giving it that mile-deep shine. Other elements include this flying buttress with integrated driving lights, a lift kit with Rancho shocks, and all kinds of GM performance accessories. No changes were made to the 6.6-liter Duramax diesel, but inside the interior really stands out with this unique upholstery, complete with these accent stripes. Despite the years, Bigger Red hasn't diminished in its off-road capabilities, and with this larger-than-life personality, continues to grab attention and turn heads. Finally, during this time frame, Hummers were all the rage, with this H3R concept being built as a tribute to the success Team Hummer was experiencing in off-road competition. Now, the largest engine available from the factory was a 5.3-liter V8 making 300 horsepower, but that's not this. It's a Corvette Z06 LS7 making 505 horsepower. It features custom valve covers and a unique air induction system, and you can see the whole setup through this clear Lexan insert in the forward tilting hood. Inside, it's stripped down and ready to go with these race seats and harnesses, fire extinguisher, A-pillar gauging, and even a full-size spare. Add to that an upgraded suspension and lift kit, rock rails, and these monster Mickey Thompson tires, and you've got one killer Corvette-powered Hummer that's ready for Baja and beyond. This all-American trio is loud, vibrant, and impossible to ignore, with each of these prototypes soon up for grabs as they get ready for the Mecum Houston auction, which has me wondering, drop a comment on which of these wild concepts should have been greenlit for production.
You know, you're right, Matt. They were modded to the max.
They were. That's such a great era, Brian, of show trucks. All of those, I think, had spent some time at SEMA, or at least started at SEMA, and then went to all kinds of events. I just love the bright colors. Bring back more of that. Bring back the kind of wild, loud ground effects. All that stuff is just so cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks for heading out there without me again, and I can't wait to see where your next stop takes you.
So those are part of the Mile High collection. They are part of a larger group of even bigger and badder trucks that are all selling here on Saturday at no reserve. Lots of good information online about those. I encourage our viewers to go check out the consignment pages. And of course, when you're here, go check them out in person.
Check them out in person.
But a lot of over-the-top features that you really do expect from show trucks of all kind. I just thought, man, they checked the box. This is the definition of an all-American show truck.
It is. I'm going to go check them out in person now that they're here.
Well, Brianna, as we wrap up, of course, let's tell our viewers that wherever you're watching, drop us a comment. We do look. Good morning to Tim, who's watching from New York.
We're in New York because we're going to go to Syracuse in July, and, you know, maybe we invite, you know, him to come hang out at the Syracuse Nationals.
Absolutely. Tim, let us know where you watching from. And like Brianna said, come hang out with us at the Syracuse Nationals. Keep an eye on maybe some other events up there that we'll be attending. Let us know, as Brianna said earlier, if you have a story about either buying a car or selling a car, let us know, as well as what's catching your eye about what's crossing the block.
And especially if you bought a car or even a motorcycle, because we sell motorcycles at every auction, and it needed some restoration, or you wanted to buy a baseline vehicle and you wanted to customize it. We want to follow up with you. We want to see, you know, the evolution of the cars and the motorcycles that come through Mecum, you know, and who are you driving it? Is it a museum showpiece now? Like, give us all the information. I'll send Matt out.
Yeah, like in Greg's case, you know, he bought that to modify, and he's got some kind of road trips in the works. So I would love to know, when you buy something at Mecum Auctions, what are you doing with it? Are you putting it in a garage, which is awesome? Are you taking the Hot Rod Power Tour? Are you going Route 66? Like,
well, just like that collection that I love so much that you and Alyssa went out and visited in California, the low mileage collection, the SS, the Silverado, the Bronco, and everything, the Blazers. You know, if I would have been able to buy them, I would have turned some of them into my daily drivers or my Sunday drivers. And I really want to know, like, when someone's buying a vehicle here, what's the intention? You know, is it a daily driver? Is it a Sunday driver? Is it something that you want to, you know, restore with your son or your daughter? Like, give us the juice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, also in those comments, as I mentioned at the end of that Mile High package, let us know which of those trucks should have been greenlit for production, because they were prototypes. I will say some of them a little bit more show oriented than others. But like, if we could go back in time, which of those are like, yeah, we need these in showrooms?
You know, I haven't always been a Hummer fan, but that Hummer was speaking to me.
How can it not, with a Corvette Z06 under the hood and that power folding
You know
hood?
who would love that Hummer? Brendan Schaub.
Brendan Schaub.
Yep. Yeah, he's a big Hummer fan.
He is.
Yeah,
and he's a big dude, so he could fit in it.
Yeah, and he's modifying that one now, and I can't wait. You know, when we had him on the show when we were at Kissimmee, and he talked about, you know, like some of the other vehicles he can't bring to drop his kids off at school because they're loud. He sent me some videos of the Hummer being customized, and it is crazy loud. It's definitely not going to be a school drop-off vehicle.
Well, as we wrap up, thanks for joining us. We will be back tomorrow for day 2 of Mecum Houston. And of course, you can catch the auction live stream on mecum.com. We'll see you tomorrow.